happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. First and foremost, guys, I just want to say happy 4th of July. This one actually is a very special one, marking 250 years of America, our beautiful country's independence. And I just hope everyone has a safe and wonderful holiday. Now on to the news. We've got an update coming on the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. It looks like they're no longer at America's doorstep, but somehow have made their way in through the front door into our house. We now have the FBI exposing a Chinese spy ring embedded within our military. Guys, I'm excited to get into it. Check out what's going on. So we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
The FBI says it has arrested a pair of spies from China. The Justice Department announcing the arrest in Oregon and Texas Tuesday. They say the pair took part in multiple operations on behalf of the Chinese government, including paying informants, spying on military bases, and trying to recruit U.S. troops to spy on America. News Nation's Xavier Walton has the detail. Xavier, good morning. How long were these alleged spies actually operating within the United States borders?
Hey, Nick, good morning. And to answer your question, the Justice Department says years. The Justice Department says that these two Chinese nationals were taking pictures of a naval base, coordinating a cash dead drop, and also trying to recruit members of our military who they thought might be open to working for Chinese intelligence. The FBI says that Yuan's Chen, as well as Ryan Lai, have been working under the direction and control of the government of the People's Republic of China since May of 2021. Here are photos of the large amount of cash they reportedly paid to one informant and the backpack it came in. The two men were arrested on charges of secretly doing China's bidding without registering as foreign agents with the Justice Department, which is against the law. According to the FBI, the accused Chinese spies also conducted surveillance of a California Navy recruiting station and a Navy base in Washington State, which included photos and videos that investigators believe were sent to Chinese intelligence. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying in part, this case underscores the Chinese government's sustained and aggressive effort to infiltrate our military and undermine our national security from within. And take a look at this. The FBI says since the start of the year, 2025, the agency has arrested 51 foreign intelligence agents for activities such as spying on the U.S., stealing classified information from the U.S. government, and smuggling biological pathogens, among other things. FBI's Director Kash Patel says his agency is not done yet and that espionage on U.S. soil will be met with full force, Nick.
And once again, showing how operatives are always working to try and corrupt those who have access to sensitive information. Xavier, thank you so much.
All right, you guys. So as we can see, a full-on Chinese spy ring being exposed, embedded within the U.S. military. I found this scoop out from FBI Director Kash Patel after he retweeted Ben Williamson, the Assistant Director for Public Affairs at the FBI's tweet, breaking the news saying the FBI breaks a Chinese spy ring targeted our military. And there is a lot going on. They're actually obtained the affidavit for this criminal complaint. We can see this is the real deal. They're finally busting these folks up. We're going to check out what's going on. They actually found an article from the Navy Times. It kind of dives deeper into it. You guys know we're deeply seated in research over here with your boy RetroStef. We're going to get to the bottom of this, but first, guys, I want to check out, this is the first instance we've seen of the CCP trying to infiltrate the United States of America. I just want to give a little brief flashback over the last couple of months, what we've been seeing happening, these attacks and these aimed efforts coming from the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and then we'll dive back into this.
A smuggling probe is widening after another University of Michigan scholar from China is accused of smuggling biological material into the U.S.
It's being called a threat to national security and part of an alarming pattern. Prosecutors say that the material is related to roundworms. The woman accused of smuggling it into Detroit Metro Airport yesterday was arrested.
Now, this comes 1 week after federal agents charged another U of M scholar from China with trying to smuggle a dangerous fungus into the U.S. that could be used to destroy food crops.
7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham sat in on today's hearing and is outside the courthouse with the details.
Chung Shin-han appeared in federal court alongside an interpreter speaking Mandarin Chinese. The prosecution wanted her to be detained, claiming she is a flight risk. The judge granted that detainment. In this federal filing, Chung Shin-han, a research student in Wuhan, China, is accused of deception. Sunday, she landed at Detroit Metro Airport. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol officers stopped her for questioning. After allegedly lying, investigators say Han eventually admitted to previously sending biological materials to the United States to a couple of people at a laboratory at the University of Michigan. Feds say Han lied on shipping documentation about what the packages contained. For example, calling Petri dishes plastic cups. In all, Han allegedly smuggled 4 packages to the U.S. in 2024 and 2025. And the complaint states those packages contained biological materials related to roundworms and a material often used to introduce genetic modifications of organisms. Han identified herself as a doctoral student at a university in China and claimed the materials were for research that she would be doing at the University of Michigan during a 1-year research project. Matthew Schneider, former U.S. attorney.
It certainly looks like the U.S. government and the U.S. Attorney's Office is stepping up their efforts to combat people who are bringing in pathogens or any other items without permits overseas into the United States, and specifically from China.
Last week, a Chinese researcher and her boyfriend were arrested for allegedly smuggling a dangerous toxic fungus into the U.S., a toxin that's dangerous to humans, livestock, and crops. It was reportedly also to be used for research at the University of Michigan. The cases do not appear to be related.
This is not new. This has been happening for a long time, and the backing of the Chinese Communist Party is supporting this. And people in the Justice Department have been warning about this for many, many years. And now the American public are finally starting to see more about what's been going on.
So we're seeing there's becoming a trend here with the CCP and them snooping and trying to infiltrate into the United States. But good thing we've got the FBI. They're hot on the case. They're not messing around when it comes to this, but found another scoop. It doesn't look like they're just after the United States. And our secrets, looks like they're after Russia as well.
So this next headline is really concerning. It says basically China has unleashed hackers against Russia. And what they're doing is they're stealing the intelligence Russia has formed about us because of the war in Ukraine. Explain that.
Exactly. So we're learning this. So out on the battlefield in the Ukraine, China, which just was, as you saw, they were like, hey, we're buddy-buddy with Russia now. Well, we just discovered that they're actually hacking into Russian assets on the ground in the Ukraine. Why? They want to learn about the U.S. military response here. How are the U.S. assets that are being used in Ukraine, as well as the Russian assets, working in the battlefield? So they're breaking in to find out that reconnaissance. It's brilliant, actually. And there's really, it just, to me, it reminds us, why did they get so easily into, it's so easy for these hackers to get to information. So I always ask, are you making it easy for hackers to get into your own family? So we have ways to protect yourself.
All right, you guys. So that darn CCP is back at it again. Not only are they trying to infiltrate into the United States military, gather our secrets, but they're also trying to harm our crops. Apparently, we're seeing them smuggling in said ground worms and fungi. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on there into the labs in Michigan, but I seen this headline and just reminded me of the different occurrences that we had over the past few months. It's starting to, it's becoming a pattern, a trend, if you will. As promised earlier, we got that Navy Times article to dive into on these Chinese nationals charged with spying on the U.S. Navy. Let's check out what's going on there. It starts off by saying 2 Chinese nationals were charged with acting as foreign agents and spying on the U.S. Navy in an attempt to gather intelligence and enlist other agents. This all coming according to the Department of Justice release. It says Yuan Chin, 38 years old, and Liren Ryan Lei, 39, appeared in federal court on June 31st, just last week, to face charges issued by the Northern District of California regarding illegal clandestine activities on behalf of the Ministry of State Security. And this is China's primary intelligence agency. This is, comparable to FBI, CIA, all combined together. This is what this said Ministry of State Security is for China. Then goes on to say, quote, these activities included facilitating a dead drop payment of cash for information relating to the national security of the United States previously provided by the said Ministry of State Security, the MSS, we're going to refer to that as, gathering intelligence about U.S. Navy service members and bases and assisting with efforts to recruit other individuals from the U.S. or from within the U.S. military as potential MSS assets. Okay. Then goes on to say that Chen is a legal permanent resident in Happy Valley, Oregon, while Lei traveled to Houston, Texas on a tourist visa in April 2025. Then it goes on saying that they both were arrested June 27th by the FBI in their respective locations. Says FBI San Francisco led the investigation with collaboration from FBI offices in Portland, Houston, and San Diego, as well as Naval Criminal Investigative Services. So it sounds like this was all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised if they're withholding a couple other members, agents that were acting in this crime. The article then continues to say, quote, this case underscores the Chinese government's sustained and aggressive efforts to infiltrate our military and undermine our national security from within. This coming from Attorney General Pam Bondi. After Lei recruited Chen to work with the MSS around 2021, so a couple of years back actually, the two began identifying human targets in the U.S. Navy to recruit for intelligence agency. They both conducted a dead drop payment of at least $10,000 for the MSS, and in January of 2022, coordinating with U.S. individuals. So it sounds like they did get a couple of folks on board as earlier assumed. And then in 2022 and 2023, Chen visited the U.S. naval installation in Washington, as well as a Navy recruitment center in San Gabriel, California, gathering information on potential recruits that he sent back to the MSS. Excuse me. Chen went so far as to contact a Navy employee on social media and provide specific information about that employee to the MSS, who then instructed Chen on how to best proceed in his attempts to solicit the person for MSS recruitment. So they were going out of their way in order to recruit our military personnel. Hopefully no one bid. If they did, there was some serious, severe punishment for that. Treason of your country, definitely a very serious crime, right? Then goes on to say that Chen traveled to Guangzhou, China. I'm sorry if I just butchered that, to coordinate compensation and emission specifics with MSS in April of 2024 and March of 2025. The department alleging all of this. Then the criminal complaint also alleges that Lei lied about the length and intention of certain travels within the U.S. in April of 2025. Chen and Lei are charged with operating within the U.S. as foreign agents without notifying the Attorney General of the United States, an illegal act. If convicted, the defendants could face up to 10 years in prison and a fine up to $250,000. Wow. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. This was for all the folks who are saying Pistol Pop and Pam Bondi and Kick Butt Cash Patel aren't doing their job. They're sitting on their hands, guys. They are looking into some serious crimes. Chinese espionage plot apparently going on right in front of our eyes in our U.S. military service. We cannot allow that to go down. But this just shows, folks, that they are actually doing something behind the scenes. Sometimes those cases, like we're talking about old Attorney General Letitia James and her various corruption, sometimes those things take a little bit more time. And also there are more pressing issues like this one right here with Chinese Communist Party trying to infiltrate the U.S. military and flip our servicemen and women into being foreign agents and spies for them. I mean, this right here, I would just say tips the scale is a little bit more pressing than what we see with Attorney General Letitia James. But that's just my book. Glad to see these kind of things being released out. We're seeing they're actually getting things done. Hopefully they continue on their path. Putting America first patriots. I love this kind of news, guys. Definitely hop in the comments section. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.